everybody, it is Blonde Blitz time. Let's go.
He's had, but I still like the Commanders.
I'm also tough.
DeMar Chase.
Done.
I'm looking at that Cincinnati team against the Cleveland Browns.
Well, as soon as I saw the rain last night, I was wondering if that might be a little bit of a factor as well.
Play that week is really going to be more impacted.
With the Raiders, who got Jacoby Myers back.
The same thing with Joe Burrow. You just expect Joe Burrow to do it because he's been to a Super Bowl.
It's time to send in the Blitz with Deb Whitcas and the Blonde Blitz.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Blonde Blitz. I'm your host, Deb Whitcas. Week 1, it's in the books, and we are headed to week 2. We've got a great show for you guys today. My special guest is Roderick Walker, former running back for the Houston Oilers. We will get his hot takes on week 1 and hear all about his football career and his current endeavors. He's got a lot of them. My good friend and comedian Frank Nicotero is here. I'm so excited with week 1 comedy. New to the Blitz, Chef Virginia. She's a private chef to NFL athletes. She's going to tell us how to keep healthy while having a blast tailgating. As far as the rest of the show, sports betting expert Alex White is here, as usual, from Vegas to give you your best bet for week number 2. She was right last week, by the way. Fantasy expert Ballers Meg gives us her starts for week 2. Intuitive reader 333 Ask Carrie looks at the power deck cards for the Chargers versus the Raiders game. She also called a 14-9 score last week, guys, too, so she's on it as well. And finally, Ben Troupe, former tight end from the Buccaneers and the Titans, is here to help me with week 2 game picks. We've got a packed show for you guys, all football. Let's go. Let's start with headlines.
Now to Deb Whitcas with the Blonde Blitz headlines.
Week 1 brought the drama, and it didn't disappoint. Pittsburgh, San Francisco, and Tampa all scored game winners in the final 2 minutes of the game. 10 games were decided by one score, and 6 teams that missed last year's playoffs, including Arizona, Cincinnati, and San Francisco, opened with wins. The Colts made a statement with their first Week 1 victory since 2013, beating Miami 33-8. Daniel Jones threw for nearly 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, while rookie tight end Tyler Warren caught 7 passes in his debut. Now let's move on to Players of the Week. You guys know I love this. In the NFC, Offensive Player of the Week went to Minnesota's rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy. He rallied the Vikings from 11 down in the fourth quarter, throwing 2 touchdowns and rushing for another in his NFL debut. Defensive Player of the Week is Rams linebacker Nate Landman, who I love. He had 10 tackles and a clutch forced fumble late to seal LA's win. Special Teams Player of the Week went to Tampa Bay's Cameron Johnson, who returned a punt 54 yards, the longest of Week 1, sparking the Bucs' victory. In the AFC, Offensive Player of the Week is none other than Buffalo's quarterback Josh Allen. He led all passers with 394 yards, adding 2 passing and 2 rushing touchdowns in a wild comeback over Baltimore. Defensive Player of the Week went to Jacksonville linebacker Oyosade Oluwakin, who stuffed the stat sheet with 10 tackles, a forced fumble, an interception, and a pass defensed. And Special Teams Player of the Week went to Pittsburgh's Chris Boswell. He drilled field goals from 56 and 60 yards, and the 60-yarder proving the game winner against the Jets. All right, guys, that is your Week 1 headlines. If this is the start, buckle up. It's going to be a wild season.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay.
My special guest this week is a former running back for the Houston Oilers, and he's now using his NFL platform for all sorts of good. We'll get to his interview in a bit, but first he joins me for hot takes from week 1. Everyone, Roderick Walker.
Next caller is Deb Whitcas, who says she has some really hot takes.
Hey, Roderick, thank you so much for being on the show today. So much happened last week for week one. How excited are you that football's back?
I was breaking out in hives the night before, just waiting and waiting and waiting, and I didn't even mind. I was just, if football is coming back, I will accept everything that's happening to me right now, just for to turn on the TV and hear the analysts talk about, what they believe is going to happen. Man, I've been
Yeah.
itching for that. I'm so
Yeah.
glad.
It's been so many months since Super Bowl. It seems like it was so far away, but also yesterday. It's crazy.
Yes, yes,
So
yeah.
So let's jump into it. The hot takes for week one. So much happened. I think the craziest thing, at least in my mind, was that Eagles Dallas game. Eagles lost a fullback for the entire season. And then we had Jalen Carter ejected for spitting on Dak Prescott within the first 6 seconds.
How can you write a better script for the opening of the NFL?
You can't. The Super Bowl champions player gets ejected. One of the best defensive players that the Eagles has
That part.
gets ejected. What did you think of the situation?
Well, which one? Because the Eagles fullback getting injured on
Mhm.
the kickoff, um, I think that's big for them simply
Yeah,
because he was the only one on the roster. He was the only signed fullback.
absolutely.
And when you get, someone like that you have plans for in your season, and then they're down out for the season, what do you do?
Yeah,
Most teams who are in that situation normally they're in to fill that void, without, that way you can do it without spending extra money on trading or getting another fullback. However, that's the Philadelphia Eagles, and those guys have a lot in the tank, and I don't think that's going to hurt them at all.
yeah. So he's such a good player though.
Yeah.
And it's I'm sad to see him gone for the season, but we look forward to his return next season. Absolutely.
And
Um,
the sad thing about football is it happens every year.
yep.
First game, somebody's down for the season, or they just get injured and have to be out for a while. And no, that's not fun at all.
Absolutely not.
Not
It's
fun
it's
at
the
all.
worst thing to see, even, every game. If any injury on the field, whether or not they're out for the season or not, even if just to get hurt, I always it's the worst part of football. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And let's talk about this Jalen Carter ejection. I personally don't think Dak Prescott is completely innocent in this, but I wanted to get your take on it.
Nah, Dak is not innocent. Dak provoked that. You know what I mean? He was behind his two giants,
Yep.
his security team, and he knew that he could stand up. And even though the guy was maybe 5 yards away from him, and just spit. That's an old school threat. You know what
Okay.
I mean? I don't know if you remember in the Western movies, uh, when two fighters, two gunslingers look at each other, and one of them turns his head and spits on the ground. That's like almost like a slap in the face.
I
You
didn't
know,
even think
so
about that. You're right.
yeah, yeah. So Jalen was like, "Oh, you just slapped me in my face. You spat."
Yeah.
And so he walks over to him and has their intimate conversation and spit on him back.
Yeah, and we're
But this
watching and we're
time,
all, did he just spit on him? Like even the analyst, do you hear the analyst reaction? Was like, were they just and I get it, to be honest. If I thought someone spat at me, I'd be spitting too, I have to be honest. Is it correct? No, it's not. I'm from Jersey, I'm from Philly. You don't mess around.
yeah, I see.
I'm scrappy.
Oh
But
my God.
it's not right. He shouldn't have done it. He apologized. I don't think either of them should get suspended, fined, okay. But like, let's move on with the season, right?
Yeah, a couple of me and my buddies were on a text thread, and we were saying, if that had been me, I would have fought tooth and nail trying to get this dude who just spat on me. And then after the game was over, the media, they even if we won by 30 points and scored 5 touchdowns, the media would not even want to interview anyone on the team except for me, wanted to know why did I mop this dude up on this turf for spitting on me.
Right.
That's how
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
that's just
I
a
have
man code.
Absolutely. And I have to say, I'm a little upset that the rest of the Eagles players, any of the players, not just like your best defense, didn't grab him. You know what I mean? Dak instigated it for sure, but like, guys, come get your player. Why is he over in the Dallas side while there's an injury going on? You know?
Well, he just gingerly walked over there. It isn't like he
That's true.
hurriedly over there. The team would have been like, "Hey, what you doing? Moving so abruptly over there to that side of, But maybe they thought it was just a friendly.
Yeah,
It's something
that's
that
true.
happens. It happens every game. The
That's
spitting
true.
doesn't, but people walk up and do some type of form of trash talk. Dak is not known for trash talking,
Right.
publicly like that. So I thought it was just a friendly little, mouth beef, whatever confrontation.
Turned
Until
into
I
a little
saw
bit.
the slow motion cotton ball come out of his mouth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that game. What's up with CeeDee Lamb? He dropped 3 passes. Is he on like the downturn of his career here, or was it just a bad game?
And that was just a bad game. Listen,
Okay.
quarterbacks throw interceptions. Some do it multiple times a game. Wide receivers drop balls. Uh, People miss tackles. Running backs fumble. This was just CD fitting in as a player. We see him as the elite of the elite, and he is.
Mm.
So when he drops the ball, it's like, oh my God.
Right. He
He
doesn't do
never
it
does
often.
that.
Doesn't do
Yeah,
it
he
often.
never does that. But
Never.
that's like someone who never gets sick, and all of a sudden they get sick, you know? So it's just something that happened. It probably would never happen again in his career. Not, but hopefully not. I'm
Right.
from Dallas, and I'm a Cowboys fan.
All
So
right.
let's go, CD.
We won't hold that against you. No.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't. Please don't. But I think it was just a bad game. CD knows that. The team knows it. No one's, it's not something that causing worry in the locker room, because if it was, it would have been something that CD has been doing in practice as well. So no one's causing a big stir. So nah, downside,
Yeah.
nah.
Okay.
CD is he's about to get better now because he's
Right.
disgusted with himself
Right.
over that.
You can
So he's
see
probably
he was upset with himself that he dropped
yeah.
some of those.
Yeah, I think he made some personal goals to show out for the rest of the season. So we'll see y'all again.
Yep. Okay. Sounds good. Let's talk about the Steelers and the Jets. I mean, basically they switched quarterbacks. Aaron is back. I mean, Boswell with that 60-yard kick to put Pittsburgh in the lead with 1 minute. I was jumping up and down. But
I'm sure you and Aaron Rodgers were jumping up and down.
Right. Absolutely. Do you think Aaron is back, or did he ever really leave?
I don't think Aaron really left. I think with someone like Aaron, surround him with certain talents, right? And allow him to have a say so on who he feels like is best suitable wide receiver wise for him to throw the ball to. And as a professional athlete and as owners paying these these men a lot of money, you have to be really honed in to your investment, what you're investing in. I don't think Aaron Rodgers never was gone. I think that he just found a place to be happy, to be loved, to be appreciated. And he had some beef with the Jets because of what he said was, I just wanted to stick it to everybody in the organization.
Which that's wild that he came out and said that. Like, how miserable do you need to be on a football team or in life to say that after you just beat them? Like, I was shocked.
Yeah. I know. Was that Aaron Glenn's debut, right? He's
I
the
think
head
so.
coach of the Jets now.
Yes.
Yes. So I think two sides. Aaron has never been gone. I think the Steelers are still going to have to do some work, especially on defense.
I agree with
because
you.
they can't allow that many points.
Yeah, the
That's
Jets put up 31 points against
31.
the Steelers defense. That's a lot.
But that makes me happy for my friend Aaron Glenn, the new head coach for the Jets, because he was the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, who lost, right? So with him being there with the Jets and seeing that offense do that, that makes me happy and proud for him. But the win for Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers, I was really, really glad for that, because I'm definitely a fan of the Steelers coach. I love that
love
dude.
Mike Tomlin. So do
Mike
I.
is the best. He's
And
the
he has
best.
a history of winning the first game. That's like historically, a Mike
Yeah.
Tomlin thing.
Yes. 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 So I'm excited to see what they'll do, how they gel the rest of the season. That's going to answer a lot of our questions about Aaron Rodgers.
Absolutely, I agree with you. And you mentioned the Lions. That Packers-Lions game, Green Bay, are they going to be a problem? And what the hell happened with the Lions?
Well, the Green Bay Packers are going to be a problem because they took a serious guy from my Dallas Cowboys.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Mr. Micah Parsons.
Come on back, Mike. Come back, Mike. Please come back. No, I'm happy for Mike. I'm sorry that he had to go through that. Um, as still under what was it? His first contract, or the end of his first contract,
Yeah,
something like
I mean
that.
he's been a Cowboy.
Yeah.
But
So
you put the two and two, like you can't think of the Cowboys without thinking of Micah Parsons. So the
nah,
fact that
man.
he left, even I was at the training camp with the Rams and Dallas. They had a joint practice, and all the media was saying it wasn't going to happen. That Micah was just trying to, get more money and blah blah blah. And the fact that he left, I think, just shocked everybody.
I bet it shocked Jerry Jones too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I was very excited to see the Green Bay Packers do their thing. Man, the quarterback is man, that dude is special. He's special. He can run, he can throw,
Mhm.
and then he has great wide receivers that he connects with. And then
Yeah.
you flip to the
Well,
defense, and Parsons really just added to what they already had.
yeah, and I mean, in Jordan Love, he learned under Aaron Rodgers for three
Yeah,
years, so
yeah,
that makes sense that he's so good, and he's a good quarterback in general. But yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I think that team's going to be tough. It's another team I think is going to be tough. The Rams. The Rams defense didn't let a Houston touchdown at all. Didn't let them in the end zone. There was 3 field goals. I was at the game. Matthew Stafford just reached 60,000 passing yards. If his back holds up, which we're praying it does, do you think the Rams are Super Bowl contenders?
I think contenders, yes. I don't think they're going to the Super Bowl,
Okay,
but I think they'll
fair.
be contenders. I think they'll be contenders. They have a great chance. They almost had a great chance last year.
Hmm.
The wide receiver for them, number 10. What's his name? I
Well,
can't think of his name.
so Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams are
Yes, Puka
receivers 1 and 2.
Nacua.
Yeah, Puka's awesome.
I love that dude.
Yeah.
Now,
He's number
Houston,
14 this season, but yeah.
number 14.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The Texans, they're gonna have to fix that secondary.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to do some better coaching. I'm not saying get different players. You're gonna have to coach them up. Look at this film and see how this guy was able to get open and catch all these balls and fix that.
Mhm.
I don't see because of their head coach, because of the Texans head coach, the defensive mind. You know what I mean? I think that they will get that tightened up really, really quickly.
All right, well, let's talk one more game. Ravens versus the Bills, talking about tightening up. Like, what happened with the game? The Ravens were, ahead the entire game. Amazing weapons around Lamar Jackson. And then the Bills came from behind to win the game 41-40. I mean, we had DeAndre Hopkins with that one-handed catch.
Oh man.
Derrick Henry. I mean, why can't the Ravens close a game?
I don't know what the reason is. I think it's something lack of focus and concentration. Why did Derrick Henry fumble? Why
Yeah,
did he do that?
that's what
How
changed
did
the
that
game.
happen? Yeah,
It
but
was that moment.
are you tired? But we've seen Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter. He's the take charge, take over. No one can stop me. It's the fourth quarter. I'm gaining momentum. The defense is wearing down, and it just wasn't there. It just wasn't there. And
Yeah.
then I don't know. It seems like I need for Lamar Jackson to be more of a different leader. I'm not saying he's not a
Mhm.
leader. I never see him rally the troops. You
Okay.
know, come on, guys, let's go do this like this. And maybe that's not his style. Maybe he just calls the play and let our actions or our play, determine what's going to happen. But I think if he was to calm down and allow. I don't want to say. Well, it is the chemistry. It's team chemistry.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you call these plays, man, it's all about execution and not running back the other direction 4 or 5 yards, trying to avoid a sack. You know that you need to throw the ball out of bounds. Some of the things is just, you'll look at that film and say, hey, I shouldn't have did that, or that was a
Right.
dumb move.
And I'm sure that's exactly what happened come Monday,
Yes.
Monday and Wednesday when they're looking at film.
Absolutely. Film day, film review is not a happy place. Even if you win, it can
Yeah.
still be an uncomfortable situation in that room.
Yep. All right, Roderick. Well, we're going to take a little break. We have comedian Frank Nicotero, who's going to give us his take on week 1 funny, and then I'll bring you back for your interview.
Let's go, Frank.
Let's go, Frank.
Okay, I got one for you. What did the wide receiver say to the football? Catch you later. Yeah, my jokes suck. That's why I watch the Blonde Blitz.
Everybody, Frank Nicotero.
What's happening? I just put on the NFL Network. They're re-showing the Steelers-Jets game. I'm watching it again. I don't care.
I love it.
I'm going to watch. He just threw his first touchdown pass to Ben Skoranek. I'm like, I will watch it from here on in for the rest of the night.
I love it. Everyone, if you don't know, Frank is a huge Steelers fan. Years ago, when they got Najee Harris, he jumped into a pool fully clothed on vacation because
in Mexico. Yeah.
Yes. Watched him do it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a good week 1. I mean, it could have win. I would, if you would have asked me to do this had they lost, I probably wouldn't be here because I'd be really upset at the defense. I'm still upset at the defense, giving up 32 points, I believe, actually. And just letting the Jets run all over them. But look, I always liked the Aaron Rodgers signing. You can look at everything I've tweeted or whatever. I was always for it. Figured it was a good move. He'd come in, but I didn't expect him to be rolling out. And I just think the way Arthur Smith's offense has been constructed, it's playing to his strong points. There's play action, which we haven't done since Ben was healthy.
Yep.
There's different schemes. Jalen Warren out of the backfield was wide open on his 3rd touchdown pass. It was such a treat. I was screaming in the other room watching the game the whole time. Anyway, yes. And by the way, I put my screen name Frank Nicotero Boswell. I'm marrying Boswell. If he asks me to marry him, I'm there.
Forget about Courtney. No.
She's in the other room. I don't even know who you're talking about. Exactly. But it was just so much fun to watch. And, look, the way the camera angle is at MetLife Stadium, it makes field goals look so long. Or is it MetLife for the Jets play? I think it is. Anyway, it's just so far back. It's like, it looks like the way we used to see camera angles back when I started watching football in the late 70s, early 80s. So it made field goals look so much longer. I'm like, this is a 60-yarder. Look, do I have faith in Boswell? Always. He hit the 56-yarder, but to nail a 60-yarder, and the quote of the year, I mean, you were talking about Aaron Rodgers saying that, he was glad to beat everyone associated with the Jets. How about Mike Tomlin saying, our place kicker is a serial killer. He has a low pulse. I mean, that is just one of the greatest Tomlinisms forever. Look, he does a lot of BS I don't like, but that quote, I guarantee you at camp this week or at practice this week, they have jerseys. Like, our kicker is a serial killer. If not, someone trademark that right now. And don't go to the same place where Bill Belichick and his girlfriend got turned down for their patents today. They were trying to get 4. Get me serial killer kicker. Oh, that's it. Oh, my God. I said it. Get it.
And what about her, Jordan being on the field and trying to, what is going on with them?
I mean, this we haven't seen a Stengali like this since, Brian Wilson used to have that guy when he was at the Beach Boys. The fact she's allowed on the field, and it's just a bad look. But look, I didn't mind seeing UNC get trounced. I don't hate UNC. I just hate Belichick because I know he cheated and robbed the Steelers of a few Super Bowls. So Anyway, but it was a great game. On to bring on Seattle and the Seahawks, who had a tough loss. The home opener, they're going to introduce the offense. There's no way they can introduce the defense out of the tunnel to start the game. And I can't wait to hear the roar for Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh in the black and gold. It's going to be amazing.
I think you guys are going to have a really good season, and I'm looking forward to it.
I hope it's going to be exciting, that's for sure.
Frank and I used to do a podcast together called the Steagles, and I missed it, actually, with the Eagles and the Steelers together.
That's right. God,
God,
I thought that was so long ago. That was last season, or was that
last
2 years?
season? Yeah. 2 seasons ago. It seems like it was 10 years ago. Anyway, speaking of the Eagles, all right, comedian, what about this spit?
I heard you guys talking about that. I was watching the game live. I had it on. I was doing something, and I couldn't believe what to do that. More people on the Eagle fans have to be more upset with Jalen Carter for not just keeping your cool. And again, I know he's the second season guy, right? And he had a lot of off-field problems, terrible accident, but you can't do that. If you want to become a leader, you got to compose yourself. And I heard you guys talking about Dak, and I love that he used the Westerns analogy because I grew up watching Westerns with my dad. But that's just Bush League. There's no room for spitting in any sport, in any circle of life. And I loved the jersey in Philly coming out of you, and you're like, oh, we're scrapping, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, someone's spitting on me. I'm not. I don't know spitting back, but
yeah. And by the way, so I was kind of I wanted to root for Dallas after that point, right? And I hate the Cowboys. I'm a Steelers fan.
That's your mouth.
Okay, I know. But here's the thing. Then I realized for you, Deb, in my elimination pool, I took the Eagles. So I'm like, oh wait, I need Philly to win this game. I also had them in a pick 'em pool.
Right? Fantasy and all the leagues always get you. You're rooting for someone you would never root for. But
well, by the way, last year when I was doing my show over at South Point, we had a South Point league. I hadn't done fantasy football in about 10 years. I retired because it was too stressful, and I would never pick Ravens, Browns, or Bengals because I couldn't root for them. I took too many Steelers, so I retired. But last year, I got sucked into a draft. I was getting teased because I drafted all these guys who had a bye week on week 6. Didn't matter. I ended up winning the fantasy league and hanging my spikes up. I went out as a champion. You let Alex White know that next time you talk to her. Yes. But I won the league. But it's thanks mostly A-Chain and Jared Goff and Jonnu Smith, who I picked up in like week 8 off the scrap heap. And then he was like a monster for the rest of the year. So, but no more fantasy. I'm just focusing on the Steelers this year.
All right, Frank. Any more fun you want to talk about before we go back to Roderick?
I don't know. I mean, what else did you find? I'll tell you the funniest thing. So I had a buddy in town from Pittsburgh. I went to meet him at the Paris Hotel to watch the evening game, the Bills and the Ravens. And we were running a little late because of Courtney not being ready on time like a typical girl. So we got there a little late. And my buddy's like, oh, you're running late. All right, I'll just sit down and play poker. On his third spin, he pulls a royal flush and wins $4,000. So, yes, he bought drinks for the rest of the night. Yeah, wow. He's like, yeah, thank you, Turk. But anyway, it was hysterical for me to see them up 40-25, I believe, in the fourth quarter. And I'm like, God, I really wanted the Bills to win because I had watched Hard Knocks, and I became a big fan of all the Bills. I like Josh Allen even more. And, of course, there's nothing I hate more than the Ravens. So to see them blow that lead and lose was hysterical to me. And what a game. I mean, there were so many good games week 1. Like you guys were saying, it's going to be an amazing year. Go Steelers, and I'll come back anytime you need me. But really only contact me after a Steeler victory.
All right. Thanks, Rick. I will keep that in mind. I love you. Please give my regards and my
love. I will. I love you. You look fantastic. This show looks as fantastic as you do. You and you guys put together a great show. It's produced so slick. I love it. Can't wait to watch them all.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Frank. All right, guys, he helped us out with hot takes. Now he's back to talk his NFL career and current passions. Everybody, Roderick Walker, come on back.
I'm still waiting for my invite as a special guest on the Blonde Blitz. My agent is waiting for your call, Deb.
Roderick Walker here, former running back for the Houston Oilers. Roderick, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. This has been so much fun. You need to come back again. So quick, I start all of the interviews with this question. Why football? Why do you love football?
You know why? Growing up as a kid and being able to sit down in front of the TV on Sundays mostly, because, you know, when you're 9 and 10 years old, I'm not really looking at college sports. I'm outside playing on Saturdays. Well, Sundays after dinner, and that's what we have on the TV. All my friends in the neighborhood played football. I remember having a jersey with 34 on it with Earl Campbell when he was with the Oilers. I remember having a O.J. Simpson jersey. O.J. Simpson jersey, and then I had Tony Dorsett. Yeah. So I was definitely a running back in my younger days, and it was just such a way to be competitive. You know, we didn't have baseballs or baseball bats, something that in my neighborhood we couldn't afford. We had the stick, the broom, or the old 2x4 that we use for something like that. We never had enough space to play baseball, so the field or someone's yard on the side of the house is where we played, or the street. So football allowed me to utilize my quickness and my speed on people, and doing that, being able to make people look bad, make them fall down, or go the other way from where you're going and make them miss a tackle. That's one of those outdoor. Ooh, he got you. Ooh, he did you. And it's been happening my entire career. So football has always been just a foundation for friendship and camaraderie. And the thing about football and sports in general is it's not prejudice.
Right.
I mean, we have every race and nationality playing that sport, and it allows you to become the best of friends even when the game is over. So that's why football.
Awesome. As a younger Roderick, when did you know that you could go pro? Like you always said, you've gotten accolades all your life, and you were kind of the best out there. You were quick. How did you know? When did you know? That NFL was a possibility.
I think I knew that it was something that I wanted to do, even at my 8, 9, 10-year-old ages, because when I used to watch the Dallas Cowboys on Sundays, I used to always say, "That's me right there. That's me right there." My goal at one point was to play for SMU, Southern Methodist University, the Mustangs, because they played at one time in the Texas Stadium where the Cowboys played. So I said, I go to SMU, I play football in the Texas Stadium, I get drafted by the Dallas Cowboys. I already know what this turf and this field is about because I played here in college. And then, I can just continue my success from that point. That didn't happen. SMU had a death penalty to be on because of they got caught paying some players
Oh,
a long time ago.
okay.
A long time
Yeah, that
ago.
wasn't a
So,
possibility. That program was probably scrapped.
yeah, they didn't wait for the NIL deals to come out.
Yeah, yeah.
So so yeah, that was the goal then. But I always felt like even back then at 8, 9, and 10 years old, that's gonna be me one day.
Well, and you did go to University of Texas and played there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. What was that experience like, and how did it get you to transition to the NFL?
The experience was crazy, and I can go from my recruiting time because I got calls from everyone in the country. And the thing about it is, I was the number 2 recruit in the nation coming out of high
Congrats.
school my senior year.
That's
But
awesome.
I didn't even play my senior year in high school.
That's
I broke my
scary. Okay.
I
I'm
broke
like,
my
wait a minute.
ankle. I broke my ankle the first game,
Oh
my
no.
senior year. So I was out of sports that entire season. But because of my junior year of gaining over 2,000 yards and leading the state and the nation in rushing or touchdowns, my sophomore year I had 1,500 yards, and my freshman year I had a lot of yards, and then I got moved up to varsity the last 3 games and had almost 700 yards in 3 games. So I had a really, really, really cool high school career,
That's wild.
and being recruited and narrowing it down. My last 2 schools were Notre Dame and Texas, and
Mhm.
then it came out to be Texas.
Which
Texas,
that's where you're from, so that I
that's,
mean, kind of makes sense,
yeah,
right?
yeah. But I didn't care about going out of state to another school. I wanted to go to Notre Dame. It was at the last minute when I decided to go to Texas, and Texas just they put. Not saying Notre Dame doesn't, but being able to be home in the state, being able to have my parents come see me play, being able to go home on the weekends if I wanted to, that was all very important to me. And Texas just prepared players for the NFL. They were sending defensive linemen. They were sending safeties and cornerbacks. They were sending offensive linemen, wide receivers, and I got a chance to witness that. And those are my friends that are leaving every year. We're sending people to the NFL, And that was a great preparation because a lot of those guys got a chance to come back and hang out with us, give us some knowledge and information on, how to act and react and respond and what they're looking for. And that was great knowledge. That was great information.
Well, and it's right because it's such a different world going from college to NFL. I hear it every year when I'm interviewing these players, all the rookies. They're like, "I wish we knew this. I wish we knew that." Like going from college to NFL. But what was that call like that you got from the NFL when it did happen?
So this is when I started sweating. I got letters from Washington, Dallas, Atlanta, San Francisco, and the day, telling me that, we're looking to get you. But the day before the draft, I got a call, and I was packing, getting ready to leave to go with one of my buddies who had just got drafted by the Detroit Lions, Mr. Van Malone, who's now the secondary coach for Kansas State. He has to pay me for that plug.
I love it.
So I was getting ready to leave, and my phone rings, my dorm room phone, and the guy says, "This is Bill Hicks, player personnel director for the Dallas Cowboys, looking for Roderick Walker."
Wow.
I thought it was my friend joking. I thought it was Van playing games like he always does. So I says, "I'm on my way down, man." He says, "Pardon me?" And Van never says, "Pardon me." And I said, "Is this Van?" He said, "No, this is Bill Hitt, Director of Player Personnel for the Dallas Cowboys, looking for Roderick Walker." I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. This is he. I thought you were one of my friends goofing around." And he started laughing, but
it happened during the draft, right?
Yeah,
friends everywhere. Why not? It's been happening for a while, apparently.
Golly. So he was asking me, we just want to know some phone numbers where you're going to be during the draft. We're looking to get you third through the fifth round. And that was the one that sent me over. I was like, "Ooh, Dallas Cowboys may get me," So we went to
I just got
Atlanta
chills.
that weekend. We went to Atlanta, and I don't know what happened. I knew I wasn't, when he said third through the fifth round, I was like, "Well, I'm going to go hang out until the third round." Right. And I never got drafted. I never got the call. And I do know that the Cowboys at the time, or the commentators had mentioned the Cowboys were thinking about Roderick Walker out of Texas. Sherman Williams was still on the block out of Alabama. And they went with him because they thought he was going to already be gone off the board. And he wasn't. So the Cowboys called me back and said, "Hey, man, sorry, we decided to go with Sherman Williams." And, and I said, "Man, what are you looking for? You looking for anybody else?" They said, "We're looking for a fullback more." And I said, "I can play fullback." Now, I probably couldn't play it as good as Mr. Darrell Moose Johnson, but I was throwing my name in the hat. Now, fast forward after not getting drafted, there were a few. I fired an agent, hired another agent, went to a couple of training camps, and at this one, I had to go to one that was in Dallas. And myself and some other guys were sitting in the stands getting ready to do like a mini combine. And this guy comes up and says, "My name is Bill Hitt. I'm the director of player personnel for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to call roll. And when I call you, just say here, and then we'll get to the field to do, all of us were working out for different teams."
Okay.
When he got to me, he said, "Walker, Roderick." And I said, "Here." And he looked up and said, "Walker, you're not on a team yet?" And I said, "No, sir." And he said, "Well, you're going to get on one today." And I went out there, and I averaged like a 4.43 in the 40. I could run that anytime I want to. And that day, I ran a 4.37 and a 4.39, and I was done.
Kidding?
I was done. And then my agent said, "Hey, you're going to Houston." And I went there, and I got it. I was working out with some of the guys and training, and then I was hanging out and doing a lot of stuff with the guys. Then I was going to practice one morning, and this coach came over and said, "Here he is, coach," and they were letting me go. And they did it in such a different way than they normally do. So it was always confusing to me, other than, the GM or something like that. But when that happened, it was something in my spirit that wasn't even worried about being cut because I felt like, okay, I made it, but now I can go somewhere else also.
Right.
And I think I was too eager to even wait on anything else to happen. So I came back to Austin. My buddies were like, "Man, where you been?" Because no one knew. Where you been? These teams have been calling for you, these Canadian League teams.
Okay.
And so it was Italy. I called Italy and they said, Walker, soon as I called him, this is Roger Walker. Walker, are you still fast? I said, yes, sir.
Hasn't changed.
Nothing's changed in these past few weeks. Um, but nothing materialized. The reason why I couldn't go to them is because the team that just came, it was in San Antonio, Texas, one of the new in-state Canadian League teams had called me and they had me on what they call their neg list, a negotiation list, which means no other teams
Okay.
can talk to you.
Right. Mhm.
And so anyway, I ended up doing that and playing around. I got tired of traveling a little bit and just moved back home. I had saved up enough little money, moved back home to Dallas, and helped start a little company called On the Ball Sports and Entertainment. And it was there where I was just doing marketing for a lot of players. Had a lot of friends that played for the Cowboys. Michael Wiley was Emmitt Smith backup, and Kevin Smith. Broderick Thomas. I had a lot of friends on the Cowboys team that I was helping do some marketing deals with, and Priest Holmes was one of those guys, even though he was with the Baltimore Ravens at the time. I saw Deb where I read in the newspaper, and I know we're talking about me, but this is my transition from going to the working out, going through the process of going to the NFL, getting cut early, and then trying to figure out, where
What's
am I going to
next?
do now? What's
Yeah.
next?
It's huge.
Right. So I
Really, a
started
really tough
looking at,
transition.
I started looking at the newspaper and saw that Priest Holmes' agent had just signed Jamal Lewis, who had just won the Heisman, and
Mhm.
Priest was a free agent. And I said, Priest, your agent just signed this guy who just won the Heisman. Who is he going to work harder for? This guy's about to make a lot of money. He just won a Heisman. Your agent wants a lot of money.
Right.
And he said, you can't serve two masters. Long story short, Deb, he fired his agent and signed with my company On the
Wow.
Ball Sports and Entertainment. We were not a sports agency. We just did marketing, but we had two
You are
attorneys
now.
on the team. Yeah, right. We had two attorneys on our team that did represent players, though,
Okay.
and they were both my friends. So I flew them down to visit uh, Priest in San Antonio for him to interview them,
Mhm.
and the rest is history. He signed with us, and like you said, overnight it became from a marketing firm to a sports agency, and we signed Priest to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Amazing. So we've about a minute left. What are you doing now? I know we discussed you're with NFL alumni. We see that NFL alumni PA, jacket, your
Yeah.
shirt you're wearing. What are some of your current projects that you're working on right now?
I was the president for the NFL Players Association for the Austin and San Antonio chapters for 4 years,
Okay.
from 18, 19, 20, 21. Yeah, from 18 through 21. And then I became the director of player relations, community and relations for the NFL Alumni Association. So those are my babies, both of them really, because they're both geared to help former players transition, like what we just said. Do you want to go back to school? Do you want to start a new career? Do you want to start a nonprofit? So that, always been a passion of mine to get former players engaged back into society and the community. I did that. I do that. So whenever you do hear about the NFL alumni, especially here in Texas, partnering with some local kids charities,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably the one that's called these players to get them to show up at these events.
That's
So
awesome.
that's
I
what I
actually
do.
just came from a Make-A-Wish last night.
Oh yeah.
The Rams, and it was so special, and I was so honored to be there. So I love hearing this.
Yeah. We got to get the guys back out into the community because, so many people have served us as fans and bought our jerseys or our cards or things like that. So always wanted to give back to those that are less fortunate, than us. So that I do have the Roderick Walker Foundation that I just started. I just did a NFL celebrity casino night, and we raised money for Alzheimer's, which was a lot of fun. We raised money for Dale Children's Hospital, the Boys and Girls Club, Central Texas Food Bank, um, battered and abused women and children, Toys for Tots. We support everybody.
Wow.
Everybody.
Really do.
We're not just geared towards one thing. We want to help everybody, and God has given us a platform to do that. So that's what we're doing with that as well.
And Roderick, where can our audience find that foundation? Just so if they want to make a donation or get involved.
Yeah. The Roderick Walker Foundation.org. And that's Roderick, RODRICK, the Roderick Walker Foundation.org.
Also, and I also know that you have a tequila line. We'll talk about that a little bit before we wrap up.
Yes, we'll talk about that
as he sips.
Other than something else, rather, I've just recently got involved with stem cell research, and we have found, myself, some other former players have found a sticker. It's about the size of a quarter. When you put this sticker on your body, it wakes up the dormant stem cells in your body, and they go attack and treat everything that's wrong with your body.
Wow.
And from Alzheimer's, dementia, from people who wear glasses or contacts, not having to wear them anymore. I used to wake up 5 or 6 times a night to go use the restroom. Now it's only once. And that took place in 3 days. I used to have the floaties in my eyes, gone in 3 days because of the stem cell sticker. And there are so many miracles there that this thing is helping people with all types of pains, neurological conditions. It's just stem cells are natural. It's what's in our body, but to get a stem cell shot costs $5,000 or more, right? So with what we have on our hands, and as cheap as it is, it's just an amazing thing. And we've been hearing some amazing testimonies from not just former athletes, but from just the general public who all suffer from diseases or pains or ailments. So it's just been a blessing to do that.
And where can our audience find that information? Can they reach out to you or?
Yes, they can reach out to me. I suggest emailing me, roderick1@gmail.com. There are some counterfeiters out there with what we're giving. That's why I haven't even said the name of it yet.
Okay.
So there's some people out there that are doing some counterfeits or buying what we have, then they'll use it and then resell it on Amazon and things like that. So it's crazy, but obviously they see the benefit of it working. And so other than those two, then we go on to Dos Cuernos Tequila.
I love it.
Dos Cuernos Tequila. And Dos Cuernos.
Shots. No.
It stands for 2 horns. Hook 'em. So that's been a baby of mine for the past about 4 or 5 months now. So
all right.
I'm just trying to be all over the place.
Is it available yet?
It is available. You can go to
where can we get it?
Now you're talking. We can go to DosCuernosTequila.com and we'll deliver it to you. However, for a 10% discount, all you have to do is put in Sir Rod and the number 10.
All right,
Sir Rod 10.
Sir Rod, the number 10 to get a 10% discount.
Yes. On the Dos Cuernos.
Dos Cuernos Tequila. I'm going to need to try some of that. And
so
Rod,
good.
Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, you need to come back. This was so much fun.
Oh yeah, I'm coming back. I'm
all right.
knocking on your back door, and if you need me to bring some friends, I can do that as well.
Absolutely, we would love them all. Thank you so much for your time. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. All right. Bye bye.
All right, guys, newcomer to the Blonde Blitz. I'm so excited to have her. Here is Chef V to give you the perfect tailgate recipe to keep the LBs off And I'm not talking about linebackers.
I used to make peanut butter and jelly for football. Then I watched the Blonde Blitz, and now my game day food is on a whole new level.
Hi Deb, what's up everybody? My name is Virginia Sunshine and I am a professional holistic private chef specializing in clean cuisine, which I lovingly dubbed culinary healthcare. I have been blessed to have some rock stars on my roster, including the legendary Yvonne Miller. But I'm not here to name drop. I am here to help us swap out for the snacks that keep you snatched. Yes, even on game day. So here we go. Of course, we're all sort of sick of hearing just have some hummus and veggies. But truly, it's not a bad idea. It's just there are better swaps. Yes, you can go for cucumbers with your guacamole or carrot slices. But here's what I would suggest. Instead of snacking and filling up on chips and dips and other little mini things, consider game day food your actual meal. So stick to your macros, make sure you get your proteins, your fat, your veggies, and you should be in really good shape. And with that, I want to introduce to you my buffalo chicken lettuce wraps. These used to be a favorite of some of my rock stars on the teams, and just so happens to be lean, clean snack. So we start with some Boston lettuce, and y'all, I had to take it to the next level with some dill pickle potato chip crusted chicken tenders. Look at these bad boys. These are air fried, easy peasy. Now, I will say, if you do not have time to dredge, well, first of all, clean and trim the chicken tenders. I hate that little piece of sinew that always shows up in the tender. If you do not have time to dredge in flour and egg and crushed up pickle chips and air fry, use a rotisserie chicken. Just add all the other goodies and you are good to go. Here's how I take this to the next level. Some shredded carrots, because of course, carrots and celery, classic buffalo style accoutrement. Some shaved celery. Yum. Elevate this. Take it to the next level with some avocado. That's the healthy fats there. Tons of protein in the chicken tender. Gorgonzola or blue cheese, of course. Yo, I'm just here for the blue. So good. Some pumpkin seeds, amazingly healing for the hormones and adds that little extra crunch. And if you wanted to get super fancy, do not be sleeping on sprouts and microgreens. This, I think this takes the dish to the next level. Personally, I love when food is as beautiful as it is delicious because we eat just as much with our mouths as we do with our eyes. And of course, some nice, clean buffalo sauce to drizzle over our lettuce wraps. They're gorgeous, they're clean, they're delicious, and we're gonna love them. Let's taste one of these bad boys. Oh God. It's so good. It's creamy, it's crunchy, it's spicy, it's very veggie forward. It's freaking delicious. Yum. Cheers, y'all. Happy game day. Happy football season. Let's go Blonde Blitz.
All right. Thank you so much, Chef V. We will see you next week with the recipe for that perfect cocktail that you just had in your hand. It might use Roderick's tequila, to be honest. All right, guys, let's get into week 2. We're running a little late tonight, but more football, the better. Please welcome the third generation sports betting expert of the show. Alex White is here to give us your best bet.
It's time to get some NFL betting advice from Alex White and the Blonde Blitz. Win big so I can rob you later.
Hi everyone, great start to the season. Pete Carroll helps the Raiders get a road win against the New Orleans Patriots. Overall, a great week 1. Was not disappointed with all of the action. Man, the comeback win from the Bills. The Vikings on Monday night. Looking forward to week 2. Happy to be back here with you guys on the Blonde Blitz. High expectations. I'm going to try and go 70% this year with my best bets. I'm taking another dog here. And if you watched last week's video, very high on Tampa Bay this year. Didn't look great in their first start against the Falcons, but they found a way to get the win. Emeka Egbuka, the rookie from Ohio State, filled right in, 2 touchdowns for him. Hoping they can get Mike Evans involved a little more. New play caller there in Tampa Bay, so it might take a little bit of time. But here's the thing. They are going to Houston to take on the Texans. We were worried about their O-line going into the year. Had a lot of concerns there, and it showed up. They are ranked 32nd by Pro Football Focus. And I think that the Tampa Bay D-line is going to be able to put some pressure on CJ Stroud. You're getting 2.5 points. Again, that could be our lucky number. And sprinkle a little bit on the money line for the Buccaneers, led by Baker Mayfield. Good luck, everybody. Deb, Frank, have a great show. Happy to be back here, and I'll see you guys again next week.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks so much, Alex. And of course, we cannot talk sports betting without talking fantasy, right? Here's fantasy expert Ballers Meg with who you should start for week number 2.
When I'm looking for fantasy advice, I listen to Meg from TSS Fantasy.
Guys, Ballers Meg coming at you with the fantasy football section of the Blonde Blitz podcast this week. I've got some recommendations for week 2 of the season and who you should be looking to add to your fantasy football team. So let's start off with tight end recommendation, Jake Tongs over at the San Francisco 49ers. Now, unfortunately, big hitter George Kittle has been taken out for what looks to be a 3 to 5 week injury, hamstring, and Jake Tong did so well stepping up to the plate during week 1. So he's my first recommendation of someone that probably wasn't on the radar because of the superstar that is George Kittle prior to this week. Keep an eye out. If you can pick him up, he's definitely worth a shot. Next up, another player that, due to injury to someone else on the team, is going to be hitting big this week is Hollywood Brown over at the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw Travis Kelce taking out his own teammate Xavier Worthy, and as a result of that, Hollywood Brown is going to be one of the main targets this weekend. That means he is going to get more points and more opportunities to get you points for your fantasy football team. Finally, Travis Etienne over at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, we have seen today that Tank Bigsby has been traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. That means that Travis Etienne is the only real option for targeting this weekend. So again, because of that change in lineup, what that means is that Travis Etienne is going to be getting those points. He's going to be racking them up. Bonus if you can pick up Bashal Tutin, who is probably more likely to be available on waivers still, because he is widely favoured to be next in line after Travis Etienne at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Definitely worth a punt, definitely worth picking up. Maybe not this week for Bashal Tutin, but certainly for weeks to come. Keep an eye on what he is doing. We've got a full weekend of action coming up with so much going on for fantasy. We saw some big hitters letting us down last weekend and some players that we didn't expect to be putting those points up really getting involved. So I can't wait to see what's happening next weekend in fantasy football. Hope your week 1 wasn't too bad and that you managed to rack up some wins and points during that first week. If you're looking for more information about fantasy football, check us out on TSS Fantasy. Check me out on Ballers_Meg across all the social media platforms for all the hints, tips and advice that you could want when it comes to fantasy football this season.
Thanks so much, Meg. Intuitive Reader 333 Carrie is using her Power Deck cards to predict the Raiders versus Chargers game this week. Carrie, let's go.
Let's see what the Power Deck cards say about these NFL team futures.
At 33 Ask Carrie here to talk about this upcoming Week 2's game, Monday Night Football, the Las Vegas Raiders hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's get into this. So, really, Los Angeles Chargers totally shocked everyone with the season opener win against the Kansas City Chiefs in international waters. That's right. They were in Brazil, and they played a fabulous game. Totally, it seemed like Justin Herbert was just really on par. No doubt, there was a lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces, and there are actually 3 notable Pisces on the Los Angeles Chargers team: Herbert, Najee Harris, and Omarion Hampton. So they're a little watery. They can get a little emotional, which equates to passion to me when it's football. And that's great because Justin, being a leader, he's really able to execute on a few things, and it was really shown in the game win against the Chiefs. So it turns out that Quentin Johnson and Keenan Allen, the wide receivers, are both earth signs. We have Quentin Johnson as a Virgo and Keenan Allen as a Taurus, and together they were a dynamic duo, totally putting up some numbers for the LA Chargers. So what's going to happen with the Chargers in this game? That's going to be really interesting to talk about. But really, I feel that there's going to be some really key plays. Again, Quentin Johnson's going to, being an earth sign Virgo, he actually has the opposite of what's happening with Herbert. And I think that Quentin Johnson is going to be executing on some key plays, definitely having at least 1 touchdown under his belt. And so the score for the Los Angeles Chargers being 17. With that said, we have the past card, we have the 3 of Hearts. So hearts meaning emotion and water signs. So it's interesting that there are 3 Pisces actually that represents water signs on the team. And then we have Justin Herbert. There's a J with a heart who's a Pisces. And he's going to be an integral player for the Week 2 game. And then we have 6 of Pentacles or clubs, and that's Quentin Johnson. I think that he's gonna be able to put up a touchdown in the game against the Raiders. So let's talk the Raiders now. We have Las Vegas Raiders with a Week 1 win against the New England Patriots. And that was Geno Smith's first debut game. And boy, was that also a stunning game for Geno Smith, who completed 70% of his passes, which isn't surprising because he's a Libra. And so he really used his mental jog and strategic ability to outweigh, the New England defense, even though they sacked Smith 4 times. But he is a 10-10, guys. So Geno Smith, he just knows his stuff. He's very wise behind the football and knows exactly how to press on his targets. Notable fire signs. We have tight end Brock Bowers, who's a Sagittarian, also Dante Thornton Jr., who is also a Sagittarian, having fabulous games this past week in Week 1. Are they going to be able to do it again? Let's see. So the cards that I have for the actual Raiders, we have the 5 of Hearts. Not the best card. They didn't love their season last year. And they're coming off of they were coming off of like kind of a little bit of heartache, disappointments, frustration. And, but currently they have the 9 of hearts, which is, pretty close to the 10 of hearts, which is like perfection, better than they expected, obviously. Hearts, again, a lot of like water energy. They put a lot of heart and emotion into the game, for week 1. What are they going to do, guys? Sorry to report. 3 of spades. I actually don't see the Raiders being able to pull this one out, even though that would be really great if they could, to kind of keep up that momentum. So it just looks like, as far as if you're going to ask me who's going to be the big winner, I have the Raiders coming in with 14 points, and then I have the Chargers coming in with 17, so 17-14. Chargers. But let's see what happens, and I hope everyone has a wonderful week 2 game watching time. All right, back to you, Deb.
Thanks so much, Carrie. All right, guys, he's been patiently waiting backstage, former tight end for the Bucs and the Titans, with his week 2 game picks. Everybody, Ben Troupe.
Bring in Deb and Troupe so we can get our NFL picks.
Hey, Ben, thank you for sticking around.
No problem. Look, I'm looking at the new lineup too. I'm looking at people making food now. They're giving different zodiac signs. I got former players on here, so it's all good.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into it. Commanders versus Packers, Thursday night football. Who you got and why?
I love Jaden Daniels. I love what he's doing in year 2, but I think Jordan Love with his new sidekick. I mean, he probably should have been on the show. Wasn't he predicting Michael Parsons should be a Green Bay Packer? I'm going to go with Green Bay, even though I think it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout, too. It could absolutely go either way. 2 amazing teams, and this is kind of the game of the week for me. Historically, the Green Bay Packers lead the all-time series against Washington with a record of 22-17-1. The last time these two played was October 23, 2022. The Commanders won that one 23-21. The Packers look good. Jordan Love, Michael Parsons. Oh my God. The Commanders are great too. Who knows? I'm going to go Packers just because I think they're going to do it again.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to Bears versus Lions Sunday at 1 p.m. Who you got and why?
I mean, the Lions got to have a big bounce back, right? I mean, we thought there was going to be the clash of the NFC North. Didn't look good. Caleb Williams looked real good to start the game. J.J. McCartney said, hey, we play football over here. I think the Lions get a bounce back game. I think Caleb Williams is going to still look good. I think him and Ben Johnson still trying to work out that relationship. Dan Campbell's not starting over 2 in the division. That's not going to happen. Give me them boys from Detroit.
All right. Yeah, I'm just not sure. Historically, the Chicago Bears lead the all-time series against the Lions, a record of 105-80-5. Ben Johnson's going back to Detroit. This game will be Ben Johnson's first game back in Detroit since leaving the Lions as offensive coordinator to join the Bears. So we'll see how that goes. Odds for the game: Lions are favored by 4.5. And last season, the Lions won both their matchups. So yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna go Lions too. Let's do Lions. I'm gonna go with the spread here. All right, let's do Bills versus Jets Sunday at 1 p.m. Who you got and why?
Love what I saw from Justin Fields week 1. I mean, the shootout between him and Aaron Rodgers. The Bills, they got that never say die mentality when you got a guy like Josh Allen. I love Aaron Glenn. I do think he's the guy for the job, but he's going to have to get welcomed back to this division. I think the Bills are on a mission, and the Bills are saying, look, we're trying to stack wins because toward the end of the year, you're going to have to deal with injuries. You're going to have to deal, with guys, coming off IR, things that nature. Give me the Bills, so I know the Jets are going to be competitive. They are. But I just think Josh Allen, Keenan Coleman. I mean, this young man, year 2, watch out for Keon Coleman. But I just like the Bills. I think the Bills are a better team, but I think the Jets are going to play them hard. But give me Sean McDermott and them Bills.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going Bills too. I think the Jets are going to have a great season. I love me some Justin Fields as well. I'm glad to see him with the Jets. Historically, the Bills lead all-time series here with 71-58. last season, the Bills won both of the games against the Jets. The Bills are favored heavily by 6.5, 7.5. So I'm going to go Bills because, I mean, that game versus, the Ravens was just insane. All right, shall we do Broncos Colts or Eagles Chiefs? What do you want to do?
Eagles Chiefs all day.
All right. All right, we got Sunday at 4:25. What you got and why? Yeah, I mean, it's a Super Bowl rematch, right?
I will say this. If any team is built to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, it is the Eagles. They're going to get Jalen Carter's going to be back.
Thank God.
That's going to help them out. I mean, A.J. Brown is going to get more than one target. I guarantee that. But I just think the Chiefs team is not going to start off 0-2. I know they hate the fact they lost to the Chargers week 1 in Brazil, not even on American soil. Mm-hmm. But this Eagles team is why they're going to be there in the end, like they always are with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley and company. I just don't see Patrick Mahomes starting off 0-2. I know that they talking about revenge and Chris Jones and all those guys. It's going to be a good one. I always hate that. I never ever want to. I know the commissioner is listening at me right now. I know Jason is like, we don't bet against the Eagles. But week 2, you still got a lot of seasons left. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs to get a little get back. Deb, it ain't the Super Bowl. It's not the Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl rematch. But I think Patrick Mahomes are coming. I think they get a win. All
right. I just can't root for the Chiefs. It just cannot come out of my mouth.
Yeah.
So I'm obviously going Eagles on this one. Eagles are favored by 1.5, 1.5. So yeah, and this is the first time in a long time the Chiefs are being a rare underdog at home. So that's kind of weird, but all right, Ben, thank you so much. Your show is next. It should be on right now. I apologize, but everyone stay on to watch Ben's show, No Weddings in the Fall. And today's Blonde Blitz is sponsored by Wish, LBI, and Underdog Fantasy. Go to Underdog Fantasy and use promo code BLONDE, and we'll double your deposit up to $100. If you like tonight's show, please subscribe. You can follow us on all socials at The Blonde Blitz. All right, guys, football forever. See you next week, and go Birds.